Okay, well, let's start our session. In today's session, we are mainly going to concentrate on some problems which are related to control structures, mainly the loops. Loops are very important. In most of the recruitment test, mm, basic problems on numericals and some math logics will be based on loops only. So try to concentrate on some of these problems. First, mainly the sum of digits problem, Armstrong number problem, strong number problem, and prime series problem. These are the problems I am going to discuss in this session. Let me start the session. First one is the sum of digits in a given number. The problem is whenever we had given a number, our job is to find the sum of the digits present in that number. For that, I am going to give you the steps and later I will code for all these problems. Okay, just observe here. First, read the number. Once you read the number, take a variable and initialize it as sum equal to 0. Sum is our variable and I initialize it to 0. Now, our job is extract each digit from number and add it to the sum. First, I extract one digit and keep on repeating this step, extracting the digits and adding it to sum. Finally, print the sum value. This is the way we are going to solve this problem. Let me give you an example how our test cases will look like. See, given as input like 123, our job is to find sum of the digits present in this number. 3 is a digit, right, present in this. 2 is the individual digit present in this. And 1 is the digit. When you sum all these values, 1 plus 2 plus 3, the value will be 6. Similarly, in this number, the digits are 5, 5, 5. Means 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15. In this way, you need to compute it. And let me go for the solution part. How we need to code this. Is everybody able to see my Python ideally? Respond in the chat box. Respond quickly. Well, I'm going to code for the previous problem, sum of digits. First step is we need to read a number, right? For that, take n is equals to int of input and write the message, enter number. Input is the function used to read the input from the user. It generally reads the input as integer, as a string, so it is our job to typecast into integer. Now observe, I need to get the sum of digits, right? For that, I taken a variable sum equal to 0. Initialize the sum variable to 0. Observe, this is the loop you need to write. While n is greater than 0, first you need to extract a digit. I am going to extract the digit from last onwards. First I will extract units digit, then tens digit, hundreds digit, like that. For that, you need to take the digit is nothing but n modulo 10. Whenever you write n modulo 10, you will get the last digit. Okay. And I need to add that digit to sum, right? Sum is equals to sum plus that digit I am adding. I added the digit. Now I will modify the n value, right? So that I will get tens digit for the next iteration. Therefore, n is equals to n by 10. This is the floor division you need to do. By iterating over this loop, what we are doing, right? We are extracting the digit, we are adding to the sum, and we are changing the n value so that for the next iteration we will get the next digit. This will continue until we get all the digits added to the sum. Finally, we are going to print the sum. And let me run this. See, observe, enter the number. When I type 123, observe the output, I am getting 6, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3. And similarly, let me run one more time. I am giving 5, 5, 5 this time. Observe 15. 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15. Okay, well, I hope everyone is clear with the sum of digits problem. Do respond in the chat box. Respond quickly. Let me go for next problem, Armstrong number. We can say a number is Armstrong if, let me take the pen and give you. First, we say a number is Armstrong if we calculate sum of the digits raised to the power of count of digits, then if that sum is equals to that actual number, then that number is Armstrong. Observe the steps, you will get the clarity. First, read the number. Initialize sum equal to 0. Now, first initially count the number of digits present in that number and put it as a variable nd, means counting the number of digits in the number. Our job is extract the digit and raise the digit to the power of nd is nothing but raise the digit to the power of count of digits and add that computed value to the sum variable. And in this way, extract each and every digit, compute the digit raised to the power nd and add it to sum. Finally, if that sum is equals to the given number, then you can say that the number is Armstrong. Otherwise, the number is not Armstrong. Okay, let's go for example. See, 153 number take. How many digits are there? 3 digits are there. 1, 5, 3. Now compute the sum. Means now nothing but 1 cube plus 5 cube. And the third digit is 3, right? Raise the third digit to the power of count is nothing but 3. 3 cube. Whenever you compute this, you will get the value as 153 itself. Means the sum value is equals to the original given number, so that you can say that number is Armstrong. Similarly, apply the same logic for this and this input. Okay, well, I am going to do coding part for this. Observe carefully. Our job is to read the number, right? So I write n equal to int of input of enter number, which means the input function will read a number and int will typecast into integer form. Now first I need to count the number of digits. It's nothing but number of digits is equals to, I am going to count, right? Means length of string. I am typecasting the number into string to find, if I found the length of that number, it will give us how many digits present in that number. Now I got the number of digits present in that. My job is first initialize sum equal to 0. Now to extract one digit and raise that digit to the power of nd and add it to sum. For that, write the loop like this. While n is greater than 0, first take the digit means r equal to n modulo 10, or for simplicity let me rename it as digit. Digit is equals to n modulo 10, means we get one digit, that is nothing but units digit we got, and we need to raise, right? For sum I am adding sum plus is equals to, how I am adding, first I need to raise the digit to the power, means double star will represent exponential operator, digit is raised to the power of nd, and this computed value will be added to the sum variable. Now you need to change the n, update the n value, so that n equal to n by 10, right? So that for the next iteration you will get 10th digit and raise that digit to the count and add it to the sum like this. This process will continue. This process will continue. Just wait a minute. This process will continue and the sum variable will hold the sum of the digits. Now we need to check, right? If sum is equals to, let me take a temporary variable and store n value here, because by iterating over this loop, after completion of this loop, n value will become 0, right? I need to compare the sum with given number. So sum is equals to temp. Temp is holding the given number. If sum is equals to temp, means what? Print Armstrong, you need to write like this. Else means the sum computed sum value and the temp means the given n value are not same. In that case, you need to write it as not Armstrong. Okay, let me save and run this code. Just observe, I'm giving 153 as a number. This is Armstrong because 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube is equals to 153 itself. Now let's give the another one. Let I'm giving 41. Observe, not Armstrong, because there are two digits 4 and 1. 4 square plus 1 square is nothing but 17. The sum is holding the 17, but the number is 41. Both are not same, right? That's why we are getting the output as not an Armstrong number. Let's go for the next question. And let me tell you the third question, which is a strong number. Strong number is a number if the sum of factorial values of each digit equals to the given number, then that number is said to be a strong number, right? For that, read the number initially and initialize the sum equals to 0. Now your job is to extract each and individual digit from the number and compute the factorial value for each and every digit, and computed value need to be added to the sum variable, right? Compute the factorial value of each and every digit and add it to the sum, and after you check if the sum is equals to given number or not. If sum is equals to the given number, means then that number is a strong number, otherwise that number is not a strong number. Okay, I hope the question is clear for everyone. Let me give the example here. 145, you take this number, in this 1 factorial plus, compute 1 factorial plus 4 is a digit, right? Compute 4 factorial plus, and the third digit is 5, right? 5 factorial, right? When you compute this entire thing is held by sum variable. For every digit, computing the factorial value and adding it to the sum variable. When you compute this value, 5 factorial is 120, 4 factorial is 24, and 1 factorial is 1, means which gives 145 again. So the sum variable is holding 145 and the given number is also 145, so that you can say the given number is strong number. Apply the same concept for the input 2 also. This is the way you need to check whether a given number is strong number or not. I hope the question is clear for everyone. Let me go for the coding part again. Observe carefully. My job is to read a number first. For that I am using the input function and storing the number in n. And I need to check whether this number is strong number or not. Right? Let me take a sum is 0 first. And what I'm doing is, while n is greater than 0, means you need to iterate over a loop to extract the individual digits. While n is greater than 0, first I am extracting the digits. For the first time I will get the units digit, and then I will get tens digit and hundred digit, so on. By iterating over this loop, I will get each and every digit, right? Digit is equals to n modulo 10, means I will get a digit. Now my job is, I need to compute the factorial value of that, and I need to add it to the sum. Sum plus is equals to, I'm taking a user defined function, calculate underscore sum. This is the user defined function I'm taking. For that I am passing digit as a parameter, because I need to compute the factorial value for digit, right? Each and every digit. So I taken calculate underscore sum of digit. Now I need to change n value continuously in the loop, so that I will get new digits. Means first time unit digit, and then tens digit, and then hundreds digit, like that. I will get the digit. If I won't change the n value, it will fall into a infinite loop. It will be a big problem. So be careful about changing the n value. And my job is, if the sum value is similar to the previous one, I am taking a temporary variable to hold n value, because after iterating over this loop, my n value will get changed, right? So that sum is equals to temp. If a sum is equals to temp, I am going to print the number as strong number. Else means sum is having some value, the given number is different value, then in that case I am going to print it as not a strong number. In this way you need to solve it. As I mentioned, a user defined function to calculate the factorial values. Let me write that function here. DEF means the definition for the function. Function name is calculate underscore sum, and I am getting a digit here, right? Let me take it as x, means whatever the variable I am passing digit will be holded by x in the function. Now my job is to find the factorial. How can I find the factorial? Is factorial of 4 is nothing but 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Like that you multiply continuously, right? For that I am taking a variable fact equal to 1, and I am taking a loop while x is greater than 1. Means if I take 4 factorial, means what I do, 4 into 3 into 2, that's enough. If I take 5 factorial, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2, means starting with that number until 2 you multiply all consecutive numbers, that will give you the factorial value. For that I am taking fact is equals to fact into x, and I am reducing the x value. I am modifying x minus equal to 1, means x equal to x minus 1. Observe, for the first time x is, let I am passing the digit 5. 5 is greater than 1, right? Means 1 into 5, fact value will be 5. Now I am reducing x value, x will become 4. In the second iteration, fact equal to fact into x, means what? Initially fact is 5 and x is become now 4. 5 into 4, and it like this it will iterate, and it will compute the factorial value as 5 into 4 into 3 into 2, like that. Once the factorial value has been computed, return that factorial value, right? And this written value will be stored here, and this factorial value will be added to the sum variable. Once this entire computation done, check sum is equals to given number or not. In this way you are going to do the fact strong number or not logic. Let me run this program. Enter number 145 are given. Observe, it is a strong number, because 1 factorial plus 4 factorial plus 5 factorial will in turn gives us 145, which is nothing but a given number. So sum and given number are same, that is nothing but strong number. Let me run this for different logic. Okay, let me give for different question here. I'm giving the number as some 12. Observe, it's not a strong number because 1 factorial is 1, 2 factorial value is 2, 1 plus 2 is nothing but 3. I'm getting sum as 3, but the given number is 12. Both are not same. Obviously, it is not a strong number. Let's go for the next problem, which is nothing but generating the prime series. It is also very important, asked in most of the recruitment tests like TCS, NQT, and Ninjas, etc. Be careful with the prime number logic. We can do in an optimistic way. Optimistic way, okay? Let me take the pen and explain you clearly. First, read the lower limit and upper limits. And for every value in that range, starting from lower limit to the upper limit, for every value in that range, check whether that value is a prime number or not. If it is a prime number, print the value. If it is not a prime number, just skip it. This is what we need to do. Just wait a second. Okay, let's go here. Observe example. I am taking this is the lower limit 2 and upper limit is 10. Now in this range 2 to 10 means 2, 3, 4, 5, so on up to 10. What I am doing is I am checking every value in that range whether it is prime or not, and I'm printing only prime numbers. 2 is prime, 3 is prime, 5 is prime, 7 is prime, right? These are the prime numbers present within the range of 2 to 10. Hope the question is clear for everyone. Let me do the coding part. Okay. Observe here. First, we need to take two values, right? Lower limit and upper limit. Lower limit comma upper limit is equals to map of int comma input dot split, means lower limit and upper limit are splitted, means are separated by space. For that I am using split function here. By default I am not specifying any delimiter, means space is the separation. Now why I am using map means I am getting two values and these two values need to be mapped to these two variables. First value for LL lower limit, second value for UL upper limit. Right, I am having two variables lower limit and upper limit. My job is to get each and every value in that range and check that value is prime or not. Now I am using for loop here because I know the ranges starting and ending range. If I doesn't know ranges, I know condition, then I will go for while loop. This is also very important, when to use for loop, when to use while loop, like that. Let's go here. For value in range of starting with the lower limit to upper limit, you need to take. Why I'm putting upper limit plus 1 means in Python the outer boundary will be excluded. If you specify upper limit plus 1, the control will go up to upper limit only. Okay. Now I need to check whether that value is prime or not. For that I am writing a user defined function is prime of value. Now this function will return true if that given value is prime, otherwise it returns false, right? If I am getting return value true means it is prime number, so print the value, else you don't do anything, so no need to write anything. Okay, this is the logic we are going to do. And in this code I mentioned a user defined function is prime, right? For that let me provide the code how to check whether a number is prime or not, right? Let the number be n we are getting, means this val will be stored in n whenever we call the function is prime. Now our job is to find whether that number is prime or not. There are so many logics, means what? Starting from 1 to n, I will check how many factors present for n. If there are two factors, 1 and the number itself, it is prime. It is one logic. And the second logic is starting from 2 to n minus 1, you check. Means what? From 2 to n minus 1, there should be no factor for n, so that that number will be prime. For example, I taken 5 as a number. Starting from 2 to 4, 2, 3, 4. No number will divide 5, right? That means 5 is a prime number, like that. This is one such logic. And one of the optimistic logic is no need to go up to that values, no need to consider huge values, just consider up to square root of n value. Up to square root of n you need to check. That's enough. That will tell us whether the number is prime or not. Okay. And let's me provide the code here. For divisors in range, I am checking. Before going to provide the range, let me import the math package to find the square root. Import math. Okay. Now let me take a variable m is equals to math dot sqrt of that n. Math function will return floating value, right? Typecast into integer because for loop will iterate over integers only. Now for division in range, starting with the 2 and go up to m plus 1, up to square root value you need to go and check if the given number n division modulo div equal to 0 means is there any number dividing the number, means is there any divisor, is there any factor for n between 2 to square root of n, you are checking, right? First initially set count equal to 0, and if you found any factor increment the count plus equal to 1 and break the loop, because if you found any factor means between 2 to square root of n, that itself states that the number is not a prime number, because the prime number should have only two factors, one and the number itself. Other than that, if you found any factor, means anything divided that number, means you can break it and you can state it as the number is not a prime number. Now observe here, count equal to 0 means what? There is no any number dividing the number, given number n, which represents the given number is a prime number. So in that case, what we need to do? We need to return the true. Else means count is not 0. Count has been modified because something number is dividing here. For example, take 6 as a number. I need to compute 2 to square root of 6. I need to go. Square root of 6 will be means how much? It is somewhere around 2 to 3. Right? So let me take 3 as upper limit. Now what I'm going to do is 2, 3 will check for 6. 2 is dividing 6, 3 is dividing 6. Now count will become 2, 1 incremented and again incremented for 3. So the count will become 3 first when you provide the input as 6. The count value has changed, right? That means 6 is not a prime number. So in that case, what you are going to do is you are going to return the false. Observe true, false. In this way you need to write true and false, right? Observe the code and let me run this code. If I provided the input limits, two input limits, 2 space 10, lower limit and upper limit, observe 2, 3, 5, 7, you can observe, right? These are the prime numbers present in the lower limit and upper limit. Now observe, I am going to provide another input. The lower limit is 10, upper limit is 20. Observe 11, 13, 17, 19. These are the prime numbers within this range. I hope the prime series concept is also clear for everyone. And thank you for your participation. In this session, we discussed some logic based problems on loops where many of the recruitment tests will check this logic on the numbers, right? Here we taken all numbers only and we checked whether it is a Armstrong number or not, whether it is a strong number or not, whether it's a prime number or not. And these simple logics are very important. And if you want the recorded videos, go through our channel Coding for Freshers and join the Coding for Freshers Telegram channel. There you can find the online quizzes and problem assessments to practice. In the blog, you will find the PPT slides. And once again, thank you for your participation. I'm going to end up this session. If you have any doubts, please put it in the chat box. In upcoming sessions, we will discuss many more problems. And one point to note is problem solving is not about teaching, it's all about practicing. How many problems you practice, how many logics you will crack, then that much knowledge you will get. I am providing you guidance to how to solve the problems, and I will provide you the list of problems based on numbers, the strings and array logics, matrix, lists, and collection based problems. So keep in touch with us. Do follow our channel. There you can find lot of content, and we are also having content on aptitude sessions also. Do visit those videos also. Thank you.